Well, wasn't it the prettiest game I've ever watched, but I think that is a major victory, by the way. Very tough place to go. Like I say, it wasn't pretty, but we got the job done.
Well, at the end of the day, it's gone to Kilmarnock. Away to Kilmarnock's easily, in the past, been one of our hardest fixtures. Like, very rarely did we get results for it.
They're a good team.
They could have been a shite team, but at the end of the day, with that park and the fact that they've strengthened majorly on top of it,
a very good depth. They've got good players. I mean, they're well drilled. They really didn't let us get into any sort of flow. For the whole of the first half, I would say we couldn't get our foot in the ball. We were pretty non-existent.
Midfield was non-existent.
It was back to being sort of ugly and unwatchable, but I really don't care.
No.
Because the only thing that mattered tonight was that we got the victory. We'd done that. We never done it pretty late. No. You know what I mean? We never accomplished any style points, but we got the job done, and it is games like that can win you leagues.
Aye, 100%.
You know, these are the ones we would have slipped up in the past, but we got it done.
The amount of comments on Twitter that I've seen saying, like, Disney, nobody cares about how we win it, our performance wise, and I said this in the previous video as well. It's like, the performances come, but see, when you're in this position where the rest of the league's chasing you, you're ahead, at that stage it does, that results based focus like starts to creep in. But
we've got a momentum that we've built up by ourselves since Clement came in the door. We're riding that momentum, even in games like tonight where we didn't play particularly well. We come out on top with the 3 points. We've earned the right to, have a rough day at the office and still come out on top.
Don't get me wrong, we've got a tweet here for CJ Novo that says, love the baldy Belgian, but he's got this totally wrong today. Change it at half time and get our good players on, please. Far too lightweight, talking about the starting lineup. And one of the major kind of shocks was, even though at the start of the game I'm like, he's getting a goal, was the fact that Barisic started the game. Considering how well Cortez and Yilmaz have connected in previous games and linked up, it's been doing that wing. It's been highly effective.
So what were the 3 changes? Obviously, Barisic in at left back. He changed Dessers. He brought in Silva for the start, and there was one other change.
Did Sterling drop it?
No, because Sterling never started. Oh, no, he did start, didn't he? And he brought McCausland.
I brought McCausland in.
So, to be fair, I mean, CJ saying, I know where he's coming from, right, but get our good players on, please. I think that's maybe a bit of an overstatement. I think the mistake that Clement made the night was to bring Barisic in for Ridvan. That was surprising for me. Obviously, look, Clement has been getting the job done by using the rotation and using the squad depth that we've lacked for so long, but I think that was a mistake, considering the sort of form that Yilmaz has been on. Been one of the best players over the recent weeks.
Well, compare the pace of the game,
and to bring on that empty fucking tracksuit as Barisic, that was a tough pill to swallow, to be honest.
At the end of the day, consider the pace of the game in that first half with Barisic compared to the pace of the game previous games with Yilmaz doing that wing. It's completely night and day.
Barisic doesn't have the hunger for it anymore. Has he ever had it?
I know, Barisic hasn't even got to be here after the summer, so it's almost as if Clement's been a victim of over-rotation in a sense, because I don't see any tactical advantage to playing Barisic over Yilmaz other than him saying, right, let's rest Yilmaz, maybe because it's the kind of park it's on, maybe we can get away with having players like Borna Barisic pushed into the squad to kind of avoid that potential injury to Yilmaz, because he's such a key player. But at the end of the day, at this stage of the season, in my opinion, you've got to be playing your best players every single game when they're available.
We're not so early on in the season anymore where you can sort of be risk averse and put in Barisic so that Ridvan maybe doesn't get injured on the plastic park or whatever. Obviously we've got the European fixtures coming up. but for me we're at crunch time now, so look, but hey, I'll say this as well, right? This is what I really love and respect about Clement. He knows that he's made the decision to bring in Barisic, he's made the changes, and at half time he's went, I've got this wrong, you're getting hooked,
there's no ego,
we're changing it, and look what happens, we get the result. Obviously the second half, it wasn't exactly exhilarating, but Clement just doesn't mess about.
No,
he doesn't. A lot of managers, I think, have got too much of an ego, and they say, no, I made the rotations, I'm going to stick with them until the 75th minute. Clement's like, no, half time we make the subs. How many times in the past have we been, as Rangers fans, like, we never used the half-time period to make subs, but now we've got this guy in the door who we've seen hooking people at 30 minutes.
Well, I can't well get took a European game 30 minutes in.
He doesn't mess about. No. He gets it right, and fair play to him. Again, he got it wrong for the start of the night, and in terms of playing Barisic, I wouldn't say that he got it wrong with Silva and McCausland.
No, because Silva's
they never
been
had the best
decent,
game, but I don't think you can blame him for putting them on. But Barisic was questionable.
There's two sides to it, because on one side of it, there is one player in the squad that can almost kind of kill the momentum and the mentality in the team, but at the same time there should be players there to step up and fill that void. But I think that kind of showed how, if anything, how well Cortez and Yilmaz works, and how well they work in terms of even bringing Diamande into the game, who we've seen come into the game a wee bit more. Lawrence come into the game, obviously get his goal, decent goal. Like, when you've got the kind of players on the pitch, and we've got the full team, all our best players, you see players that were kind of almost phasing themselves out of the game, are struggling a bit more, like, be allowed to come back into it.
Mate, that was a tough one to pull out the bag, you know what I mean? You go in there, one down at half time, you know you're on that pitch, up against a well drilled and honestly a really good Kilmarnock team, who I'm sure have no lost. I think the stat was they hadn't lost since we last beat them in September or something. I don't know if that's true. Maybe at home, I don't know. But they're on form.
Aye.
They're playing well.
Tell you what,
you're not got to go there. You're not got to go to their home ground and roll over the top of them. We certainly didn't do that. I thought they were probably the best team in the first half. We never get anything going whatsoever.
What a job McInnes has done with that Kilmarnock team, man.
Aye, fair play.
Like, fair play to him. And it bring, see that having depth in the bench with the likes of Stewart and Van Veen, who was fucking excellent in Scottish football before he left. But going on to like Tavs, like the fact that somehow every single time when we're, you know, in the ditches or we're just needing to grind past or get the 3 points, Tavs always somehow involved in it. Your captain, exactly. And I mean, as we said before, like we were like a long way. 99% of the Rangers fan base were calling for Tav's head during the period they've been.
But not just Tav, but every single player on the park said, and the coaching staff and the manager.
But at the end of the day, there's like, you could, if we get to the end of the season, we lift that title, there's more than a handful of moments you could look at in this season and say, like, Tav's probably up there with the likes of Butland and securing that title.
And the thing is, it's not the easiest place in the park to lead from, being a right back. You know what I mean? But obviously, Tav's got it in him. He just, when we're under the cosh, just score a free kick. On you go. Just score a free kick, change the game, and that's exactly what it done. I mean, I was nervy. Even when that second half kicked off, I really had my doubts. You know, because it'd be different if we actually played well in the first half. We looked like they were causing them some problems. I mean, when you come off of that result against Hearts there, an absolute dismantling of one of the most informed teams, if not the most informed team in the league, you're always expecting, you know, a high level, and we never got that the night. But look, we were used to sort of rotten games, and it was kind of a rotten game in terms of performance wise. We were used to that at the start of the season, but the big difference is we got the job done. It was away from home.
Aye.
It was tough. Again, like I say, you're just off of that 5-0 thrashing of Hearts. Now you need to go to Kelly away. You're under the cosh. Early penalty gets given away. Obviously the manager's made a few changes. But
by the way,
that's the difference in the mentality in the team. There has been a massive change, and that is a massive result.
Going on to the penalty, just as you mentioned penalty there, to me, watching the two penalty claims, like Kilmarnock's and ours, I just don't understand how Lundstrom's can be such a solid penalty, but later on in the game, when I think it was Mayo that handballed it in the box, clear handball. I think it's just, and I don't even think they even considered looking.
Do you know the thing is, right? I want to talk about it in a sense because it's so ridiculous, but
it doesn't matter.
Because it's so ridiculous. Because there's no consistent. I don't know what the rule is. You see two identical handballs, one given, one no.
Yep.
The whole handball rule in general is farcical. I don't even know what sort of angle to come at it for. Do you know what I mean? Because
it's hard to analyse handball. You see pundits who have played the game and lived through every single rule change there's ever been in football, and they struggle to even explain it. And to be which answer have you got?
They need to sort it out. Somebody needs to get their head stuck into the rule book and say, because I want it to be black and white. You know what I mean? I want it to be, if it hits you, like they were saying, right, if it hits you below the sleeve, it's a penalty. If it hits you above the sleeve, it's not a penalty. Regardless of the circumstances, like, is it bounced up and hit you in the arm, it's a penalty. At least I could deal with that because I know the rules. I don't fucking know the rules because
it's
there's so
just
much
up
inconsistency.
To the referee's perspective. What's the referee's perspective on it? What's their perception of the rules?
Which it shouldn't be like that, because one, we've got VAR, so that should be dealing with the problem a lot more effectively. It's no. And also, the handball shouldn't be a sort of subjective thing. You know, it's no a tackle. It's like, again, we're gonna go off the deep end on this because I don't have any. I don't know. Like
don't
I say,
know what angle to take it.
Because I don't know what it is. I don't know how they're trying to define it because it's no. If it hits your hand, it's a handball. They need to either. The only way they can do it is they can make it black and white in the rule book, so it's easy for me to understand, for you, for everybody to understand, so there's no grey area. They need to either do that or they need to release like the VAR recordings to see how these clowns in VAR are making these decisions, by the way, because it needs to get sorted. Obviously it's like been week in, week out for the start of the season. It didn't cost us the night because we've come out with 3 points, but I dare say that these decisions could be major, especially when it's so as tight as it is at the top of the table.
It doesn't help with feeling like conspiracy, like for either side, you know what I mean? But tend it will go to Heart and Hand podcast tweet. We're going to win the league. We're going to win this league. The bottle we've lacked previously is there. No way, absolutely no way we don't lose that game 6 months ago. Super Jack's save and Tav's free kick look like pivotal moments in our season. What we were talking about earlier on to the players that if we look back when we lift that trophy, we can point a finger to and say they majorly contributed towards it.
It's big moments for big players, isn't it? And
that's what it comes down to. Like, that's what regardless of what team it is, like, they big moments.
A change tonight from, let's say, maybe a couple of months ago as well, is even though we weren't at our best, it didn't look like people were shying away.
No.
It didn't look like the pressure was getting to them. It was sort of like,
we
know we're not having a great...
mentality thing before, I feel like it has every time we've went.
Other than Barisic, he's
just any time we've went away to Kilmarnock, I feel like from a fan's perspective, in terms of fans and in terms of the players, there was always some sort of block because of the pitch, because of the injuries we've had on the pitch, because of
Aye.
the difficulty of the opposition during the games. They're always well organised at home. It's hard, let's be honest, it's hard for any team to go to Killie. But
Oh, without a doubt.
when the Old Firm teams rock up, you know what I mean, teams want to switch on, they want to play, they want to sit back, hit us in the counter. And in previous seasons we would have played probably that horseshoe shape outside of Kilmarnock's box, just hitting aimless crosses. By the way, that's another thing about Barisic, is he's still locked in that mentality. All we need to do is horseshoe, I'll get the ball and just swing a hopeless ball into the box.
Barisic, that's all his passages he played were in that first half. Like, there was no overlap, there was no underlap, there was no coming inside, there was no creativity.
It was on his own out in that wing.
You pass it to Barisic, he's like a table footer player. He stands in the one spot and just does that big looping ball in. Barisic, it worked in the past. You had a great delivery of the ball, but we've moved on for that. It's no the sort of style we're playing anymore.
No.
You see it, it was caught out majorly tonight.
I think you need to be almost completely immersed in the team in the way that Clement wants to play. Like, there's no room for any mentality block. There's no room for any player in there to dwell on the past, because you're going to get, like, Clement will find you, like, he'll spot it straight off the bat, he'll hook you 30 minutes in, half time, you're gone. Like, there's no two ways about it. No player wants to be embarrassed like that, and the only way they can get embarrassed like that is going away to teams like this and having that mentality of, well, this is a hard place to play at because of previous results. Let's be honest, we're going to play Benfica in a couple of weeks, or a couple of weeks. Like, we should, like, if you want to go forward against teams like Benfica, you've got to be coming into this game with at least the right mentality for it, to say, right, we're a like a Europa League challenging side. This
is the conundrum that's always been and always probably will be about Rangers. Like I say, you dismantle Hearts, who have been brilliant for the last couple of weeks as well. You go to Killie. I don't really even. That game stands for nothing tonight, other than the 3 points. Normally I would have dwelled on it and started to become concerned, thinking, oh no, the performance is starting to drop, like, because it almost was like watching a different team. But it's circumstantial. It's like, we're allowed to have a bad day, but we still won. That is the main thing. But I know for a fact, right, it's hard to fathom, but you could play that match there, and I guarantee you these two legs against Benfica, you play them side by side, and you'll be thinking, is this two different Rangers teams?
It usually is with us in Europe and domestically, but
because the standard will be completely different. The tempo, the intensity, and no, because the games are so different in terms of what they mean, because that was a massively important game tonight. I felt myself for the last couple of weeks, every fixture that's came up for us, I was like, this is probably the most important game of the season.
Well,
this is probably the most important game.
And the thing is that there was always that dark, cloudy, Christ, we're playing Hearts, second most informed team in Europe, and then Killie, who are a team away that always. I'm like, that's the big 2 weeks. You know what I mean? We're going to play against Motherwell as well, who are a decent side, but at the end of the day, the two fixtures were the ones that, as I said, it's like a dark cloud. And
very tricky.
If we can get through this.
Well, it's us, Celtic, Hearts, Kilmarnock, innit? You know what I mean? So technically, they're the toughest two games out with Celtic at the moment, and we got the job done. One was a remarkable dismantling. The night, we just got the job done. Something we couldn't do in the past. That's the difference, and I'm glad.
100%. So, 3 points, job done. Hopefully, step closer to the title. What I want you to do is I want you to jump into the comments, let me know what you thought about this video or opinions on it, let me know what you thought about the game in general. Remember, the BlueSea channel memberships are available, the link to that's down in the description, and we'll see you next time.